Back to the breaking news that has just happened about 25 minutes ago. Police in Las Vegas investigating reports of an active shooter near the Mandalay Bay Casino on the Strip. Police are asking everyone to avoid this area. You can appreciate the police presence with the sirens.
Welcome to Sam Houston Network in partnership with the Houstonian Online. This is Table Talk. Today we're going to talk about the ins and outs of the Las Vegas shooting. I'm Julissa Garza.
I'm Madison Smith.
And I'm Tiara Denman.
The narrative of the Las Vegas shooting doesn't add up. There's been a lot of changes. A lot of it just doesn't make sense. I think we can all kind of agree on it.
Yeah, especially with the worker when he was talking about that, 6 minutes before he had, warned the people, warned the police, and then they talk about 6 minutes after, and then 3 days ago they said it changed to how long?
And then recently, it was 40 seconds. So the time, how do you jump from 6 minutes before, 6 minutes after, to 40 seconds? But I think that's just one of the, not small detail, but there's some other stuff that doesn't make sense. Like this man, Stephen Paddock, I believe that's how you say his name, how he got so much equipment, so much weapons into this hotel without getting noticed. And I think we've all gone through hotels. I noticed, wow, they have a really big bag.
Right, absolutely.
I feel like he did it in increments. I feel like he had bags of, the guns and probably 3 regular golf-sized bags.
But wouldn't he not want to draw attention
to himself?
When we take grocery trips, one trip. So I think even in every sense, you want to take one trip with all your stuff and get to your room, especially if you're staying on the 32nd floor.
Absolutely.
True. Which is why I still think that he did it in some type of increments to kind of make it seem it's not a weird thing. I feel like maybe he did it because he stayed 3 nights. So I feel like each night he probably brought up a different bag each time, but nobody would really recognize it and nobody would know.
And not only would they not recognize it, even if they did, for whatever reason, they just didn't say anything. They might have thought it was suspicious. It might have drawn a suspicion, but they didn't feel the need to stop this man from coming in with all this random stuff.
That is true.
And that's a problem as well.
Could come from the employee saying that there was a shooter. So there was someone suspicious and there was someone that warned, and no one took it serious. This isn't the boy that cried wolf. This is something serious. Even if it's not true happening, wouldn't you rather check
Absolutely.
to make sure that someone's safe?
A little check could have saved 50 people's lives.
Exactly, and these people were just enjoying a concert, that was their, that was their jam. But I do think that there was other people involved. I don't know what you guys think.
There has to be some people involved in it because, he also had a girlfriend at the time, and, he spent, he paid $100,000 for her in the Philippines.
He sent the money, yes.
I feel like that was a way of kind of okay, I'm going to give you this money, there's something you have to do for me. Because also I was reading in an article that he was taking antidepressants a few months before the shooting even happened. So I felt like something was mentally wrong with him. So I felt like the girl had something to do, but that's just my input in things.
Yeah, no, definitely, I agree. I think she could be, maybe know about it. I also think that there had to be other shooters.
Yeah.
Because how did this man, who his brother said is not a gun person, there's heavy equipment in there that takes extensive training, that it's heavy. How was this man going to be so precise and be able to hit that many people?
That's a lot.
He had to have somebody else who knows how to work this equipment, who can help him achieve his goal.
Absolutely.
And the crazy thing is, there was a woman that told people, you're all going to die tonight. I don't know if you guys remember that. So maybe she had something to do with it. And in the video, there's a group of bystanders, in the concert, that when everyone was franticking, trying to get to safety, they did not move.
Right.
They just stood there.
So you feel like it was money, it was more than just one. It was
one person that knew. I think multiple people knew. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is become a huge conspiracy theorist and a conspiracy theory thing. But there's one thing being conspiracy theorist, and there's another thing knowing with instinct that there is a conspiracy going on. Conspiracy is a thing you could go to jail for. Conspiracy to kill, conspiracy to murder, conspiracy for terrorist acts. So this is a thing, and I do think it was much larger than people want to admit or people want to tell us. I think maybe they don't know yet, and they're trying to keep us from getting there, but something else is going on. There's no way. It's just not physically possible. I don't think that somebody who is allegedly not a gun person could then become a gun person very quickly and do it with such accuracy and precision.
Well, I was looking at his background, and come to find out, his father actually went to jail for robbery and shooting people. So I feel like there's something in the family that happened, because his father did go to prison because of that.
Absolutely.
And I feel like something like in him probably, had talked to him about it. And, recently they were talking about, like I said a few months before, he was shooting. Like, he was practicing, shooting out in the middle of nowhere. This is while he was in Texas, because he had an apartment or a complex in Mesquite. And they said that he was shooting around with his girlfriend at the time. So I feel like he was preparing, he was practicing for this event to happen. So that's kind of how the saying kind of went, in my opinion.
I know that even one person at the concert who said he was an avid gun shooter and he was shot, he said, and this man knows guns, that the bullets were coming from two different trajectories, one coming from above and one coming from straight. Mm-hmm. That's impossible, and I don't even want to get into this Kennedy magic bullet thing, because that is impossible. We still don't know what happened with that. So I mean, that just ties into a bigger thing. There's no way, there's no curving bullets. Something happened.
Yeah.
Definitely. And how, people, they weren't just shot in one area. There was people from different, parts. Because when people were interviewed, they were like, people were falling when someone got up and ran, they got shot. So how was he able to manipulate, aim his weapon towards all these different angles? Like, there had to be more something people. Else. And I think there was a body cam of a police officer, mm-hmm. and you can kind of see wind or something like that. Like, if it was, you can hear it closer to where he was standing, and that goes in with the trajectory part, that you couldn't hear it from above. It was almost like it was at ground level. Absolutely. With him. So that could be maybe like I know some people have thought about the second floor, the fourth floor, maybe just a lower floor, because he was on the 32nd floor, so he could be that trajectory from the top, but who is responsible for the lower?
And I'm sure he had to pay him, because he was a business marketer.
He's a retired accountant.
Yeah, and his worth was $2 million? So it's like, yeah, he had enough to sit over here and actually pay somebody to actually want to do this. But the question would be, why would he want to do this?
And they still have said no motive, and the crazy thing is that the FBI immediately dismissed ISIS being mm-hmm. tied into this, but something that I had found out was that Al-Qaeda and ISIS have strong ties to the Philippines. So, and his wife went to the Philippines. Mm-hmm. I think she's Filipino?
Yes, she is. Mm-hmm.
She is Filipino. The wife is Filipino. She went to the Philippines. He wired $100,000. So they immediately said, this is not ISIS, even though ISIS has already claimed responsibility for it. Al-Qaeda and ISIS have strong presence mm-hmm. in the Philippines. So that's also another question. How can you say we're going to eliminate ISIS when he transferred money to an area that has strong ties to them there? So I think that's crazy.
I think we need to keep all options open. It very well could be a terrorist attack from another country like mm-hmm. ISIS, Al-Qaeda or something, and it very well could be his own mental instability. Yeah. And we have to also keep that in account. It could just be that he is unstable and that he is himself a terrorist. He's his own worst terrorist group. It doesn't always have to be a group from another place. Terrorists are here, and he is one. We just need to figure out what kind, where he came from, where this definitely mindset began.
Yeah.
And there could also be, so recently they took pictures of his room, and in the room there's a picture that shows what we can assume or what we can think is a suicide note. It has a pen, it's got a small little notepad, kind of like this one, mm-hmm. just a little bit smaller with a pen there. So if it's a suicide note, why can't someone investigate it? That can give us a motive, because if this man committed suicide and left a suicide note, for all we know, we could have said, hey, left some type of reason to why he did it, and why can't that be more looked into? Because people do leave suicide notes explaining why they did it. So why isn't this something that the mainstream media isn't picking up on, or someone investigating into it?
I mainly think it's because I think their main focus now is the people that got injured. So they don't want to investigate and put all their time forth on what's wrong with this man, what happened to this man, and why he did it. Due to the fact that there's people out there who got killed and who's injured, they want to put more of their focus on, let's get them right. But you do have a point though, because that is true.
Because it's the doctor's responsibility to take care, not the FBI,
Right.
not the mainstream media. Their job is to figure out answers, because these people that were injured, if I was injured there, I want answers. I want answers to why this man did it. I don't want to hear he wasn't a gun person. He
Right, I don't want
never was
excuses.
angry.
I
I
want
don't
all
answers.
it is
I
excuses.
want answers.
Absolutely.
Even though with this tragic incident, it has brought a lot of people together.
Yeah.
It's brought people together to advocate for better gun control, just to care, because this country has been very divided lately.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when tragic events happen,
It
does
brings people
bring
together,
people
which
together.
which is just kind of a sad thing to say, because we should be, brought together of good things instead of just something that happens like this. Because this isn't the first big shooting; it's just one of many that's been going on, and it's just crazy that this whole thing has to be brought, us like more closer just for this.
Right. With that being said, I think that whether it is a tragedy or not, let's hope that this is the last tragedy that we will see, at least in the foreseeable future, that can bring us together for the long run.
Definitely.
And our hearts go out definitely to the victims and everybody that was in the Vegas shooting. Like, we deeply,
Our
hope.
thoughts are with them. We
Thoughts.
care, and we hope, they get the answers that they want, and we hope that they heal mentally and
Mhm.
physically from this tragic event.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
This has been Table Talk. We've let you know our thoughts and opinions on the Las Vegas shooting. Please let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Once again, this has been Sam Houston Network in partnership with the Houstonian Online. Thank you.